This trip's going to be a little bit different for me. It's something I ain't done for years. I'm going solo and I'm going over to Europe, so I'm going feet first. I'm going to go and look at the past military service and look at the modern day by giving my story on CPTSD and chronic depression. So it's going to be an emotional journey, this one. Something I've needed to do, but I think the time's right and I'm ready to go now. Welcome back. I'm just about to leave the yard. I need to get going. And yes, as I said, I'm solo now. Just for this trip, so don't worry about that. If you like watching Jodie and not me, then she'll be back. But it's going to be the next 8 vlogs. So today, let's get across the tunnel. I'm going to go somewhere special. And because it's my mum's birthday, actually, so this will be a bit late for that. But happy birthday for the 5th of May. Which is also Liberation Day out in the Netherlands. They had their remembrance on the 4th of May. Well, we're out the yard. I'll catch you when we get nearer the tunnel. Well, straight away, I'm getting a bit of a drama. I just had to reset my, I suppose, the unit within the van. Because my Google, well, weren't linking to my Apple Play and my phone. Now, I have got the Garmin Avtex 2, as we all know, the ones that have been watching. So I have just started off on that, but now I've got my Google Maps. My Google Maps I like, gives me the bigger picture. And considering Jodie's not with me now, I'm down to 2 sat-navs and not 3. Time to get comfortable. We said I've got 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is going to be pushing it for my final check-in at 11:16, I think that is. However, with the tunnel, they normally just let you on anyway. I'm making good progress. I'm about an hour away, actually, from the tunnel now. 4 miles left on the M25, so that's always my biggest fear, is getting around the M25. So not long to go. Then I'm going to have to start thinking of, right, turn the gas off, that's an easy one. What side I'm going to drive to the booth. So I want to be able to talk to them on driver's side and not jump over to the other side. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to hit any tolls today. It's going to be probably about an hour and a half once I get off the tunnel. So we're going to be going to the Somme area. And I'm going to go back today to Sunken Lane. Good thing is the sun is starting to shine. The nerves are setting in a little bit because I've just had the music blasted. So it's funny, as you're driving along without the music, you seem to have a lot more time to reflect on the journey ahead of me. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, what's the reasons I'm going to Sunken Lane, the Somme area today? There's a couple of big reasons. My mum's late husband, John, when he died of cancer, I was able to scatter his ashes. That was his dying wish there at the tree, just where the burial ground is, actually. So I'm going to pay my respects to John. And it made me thinking about the story of Sunken Lane and the men within that trench. Now, we all look at World War I, World War II, or any conflict really, and we look at the sacrifice people made. But it sort of dawned on me, I want to bring the past and the present together. That we mourn the dead, and rightly so. But you can only imagine being in that trench, waiting for the orders to go over the top. The fear and anxiety running through people's bodies at that moment. And then the orders given. And you're watching people you know die. The fear that creates. Now you go and do whatever you go and do. You go over the trench and you survive. Is your mind ever going to be the same again? So do we mourn just death? Or can we actually mourn the loss of a life the living will no longer have. Because once you have seen such trauma, the likelihood of it affecting you mentally is massive. So when they come home, would they have been the same? Is their past life gone? Well, I've got true living experience of that. And I had to leave my old life, and I've only just really accepted that old me, I will never get back. So I've had to sort of develop myself. And I mourned the loss of myself mentally. And they must have done the same. So it weren't just a sacrifice of the dead. The living had a massive sacrifice. And yes, obviously we have casualties. Loss of limbs, physical casualties. But even today, they're only just really starting to look at what it does up there. I mean, your brain is a powerful thing. So, yeah, just give me a bit of reflection. But we'll talk about more on that when we cross over. Well, looks like we've made it in time for the last check-in. Now, I don't usually worry about the tunnel because they pretty much stick you on anyone if you're early or later. But being on my own, I sort of worry about it that little bit more. Now, we're just coming up to it now, and I think I've made it with 20 minutes spare. I'm kind of hoping it's just as easy to go through as it was a few weeks ago. They don't seem to have that new system in place yet. Let's see if I can pick a booth where it's on the right side for me. I can't remember. I'll obviously have to go. There's quite a few, actually, that ain't really running. It's definitely busier than it has been. I'll just go into this one, I think. I'm always going to pick the wrong one, I reckon. We're going that one. Okay. Bikes are going down there. I suppose it is what it is now. Hopefully I'll get there in time. We got, like I say, 20 minutes until last check-in for this train anyway. I'm kind of hoping to make it. It don't actually go till 12:15, so we should make it. And then I'm looking forward to getting over the other side. Now I need to get fuel. Didn't have time after camper van camp out to fill up. And didn't have time this morning. Got to get food. Get to my first location. Then get for my stop tonight. Well, they've opened a few more lanes, so that's one good thing. Just seems a bit tighter than normal getting in today. I think there was an accident in one of the lanes, and they've blocked them off, but now they're working again. No, I've got a funny feeling I've got to punch in the numbers myself, which is fine. Hopefully I can reach. There is stewards and that helping people out. I think they're trying to get everyone through now. Let's see if I can do it. Firm. I am a diesel petrol next. So it's saying your booked departure, no change, pressure on departure time. First call for boarding will be in 24 minutes. Next. All right. Seatbelt on. And let's go through. Okay, D3. Simple as that. Make sure it's all clear to my left. That's another thing. Jodie is worried. And rightly so. I do use her a lot for my eyes on the left-hand side. So, no longer the case. I'm on my own. Next, it'll be passports and customs. The sign is up. I'm going to go and turn off the gas and do all that sort of thing. But it's a bit busy here, to be honest, and there's not really enough spaces, so I've just tucked myself in behind someone. So far, so good. But I have just had that surreal moment where I'm on my own. Oh, here we go. Passport control. Hello. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye. Still running smoothly, going through at this moment in time. Happy with that. That won't be long. The train has been delayed till 20 6 minutes past 12. Let's see how the French passport control side goes. But it does seem smooth again. So I'm probably going to leave you here now. I'm going to get on the tunnel or on the train, go through the tunnel, and then I'll probably pick you up the other side.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town.
That was really smooth, no problems in crossing. Right now, I'm pretty proud and happy with myself. Just a little update on some of the things that have happened since I got off the tunnel. I decided to go the toll route because the non-toll route was backed up, and I just didn't fancy putting another half hour plus on my journey. And obviously I'm on my own. So didn't really panic, just stopped the vehicle, handbrake on, and went to that side and got the ticket. Just means when I get to the other end, I've got to put the ticket in and pay for it. Now, I did think that maybe I won't be able to pay by my phone, because if I remember rightly, you have to put your card in sometimes or tap your card. So I see a fuel station. I was getting a bit desperate because I've never had time, although I wish I did. It was just over €2.30 for fuel. So I had to pay that, but I had to get the card out anyway. Means I'm ready for the toll road now when I have to pay for that. It's saying I've just got under an hour till I arrive. So now I'm going to put some tunes on, sit back, and just enjoy the toll road for what it is. I've arrived. The van is safe. But here I am at Sunken Lane. The reason I chose this spot for the first stop was only because it's about an hour and a half away from the tunnel, and yeah, I thought I'd come and see how my stepdad's doing. Anyone that watched a year ago, they would have seen that, well, actually it was a private video of scattering the ashes, but this is where we scattered the ashes, and we've filmed this area. There's the memorial there. And there's the vast open land. But before we go round to the graves and everything like that, and I know I've said a little bit about what this journey is about for me. So this is a massive achievement for me. I went through around 9 years of therapy and still go through it occasionally now. I work closely as best I can with a charity called Veterans in Action, but there's been other charities that help me. I suppose this journey is really about finding out how far I've come from my diagnosis. So I was diagnosed with CPTSD, chronic depression. Even today I suffer with fatigue quite often. And there's a lot of other symptoms you have to deal with that. The journey really is the past and the present. What's changed, if anything's changed at all. Now we all look at death as the ultimate sacrifice, and it is. It is the ultimate sacrifice. People that survive the trauma of war end up having a prolonged pain. But you see, people still come here today to pay their respects. As you can see there, through this picture, there's a few more memorial bits there. And this here is basically a natural lane that's sunken into the ground that little bit. And these soldiers' faces that were here, some survived. The ones that did survive never went back the same. Let's just lay that there. So the start of this journey, I'm going to walk up Sunken Lane and just take it in of what they must have been going through. Mentally and physically, waiting for the orders to go over the trench. You just can't imagine that, really. Now, today's battles are 360. I mean, there's a lot of drone warfare, really, now. Something that I didn't see much of. But I ain't been out that long, so that's how advanced things get. I suppose the actual way wars are is different and changed. The main thing, technology's changed, I suppose. But it's the pain and suffering that stays the same. I mean, you've got this vast field up here they would have been running out into. War is something that we try to prevent, but it always comes about. So you can't blame the soldiers of today for wanting to join the army and then if they suffer from that, because you need them to protect you. At the end of the day, if we didn't want to go to war as a country, then I can guarantee someone would probably want to go to war with us eventually. So we make a choice. Some people come from bad backgrounds, want to better their lives. That's the only way they can see a good career. And you do get a really good career. It's easy for people to judge, I suppose, when you're safe and there's no war happening now. And some of these guys back then probably never even had a choice. And the ones that did may have been too young. They chose to lie about their age to fight for their country. But it's us as a country, really, that should be supporting the people that fight for us. Now, I understand post-traumatic stress, it can develop from many forms of work and even just normal day-to-day life. Now, PTSD being the one trauma, isolated, that could happen to absolutely anyone. So we should have more support out there. And if we're putting our soldiers to war, there should be support for them too. As we're walking around to where the graves are, and I was driving through this area, I was just trying to take in how many memorial spots there are, how many gravestones there are. There's absolutely loads, but that's why it should never be forgot. Not that sacrifice. Our country could be a totally different place as it is now. This cemetery contains the graves of 174 British and 2 Canadian soldiers, which in the first Battle of the Somme and in subsequent fighting in the surrounding battlefields, 2 German prisoners are also buried here. To me, that's human respect. I mean, 2 German soldiers, 2 Canadian soldiers, which are our allies, and 2 that were classed as the enemy. But it's about having human respect and compassion. Now, this whole trip's not going to be a solemn, sorry me type trip. I just want to take you on that journey of me and my next stage in therapy. But if you are looking for any support, then reach out. I'm quite happy to signpost you to the people that are out there that can help. A lot of people suffer with mental health quietly. But no, it's time to speak up. So I've spent a nice hour here, just taking it all in really, just ready for the journey ahead of me. So I'm going to head to the campsite now because it's getting on a bit. It's around 5 o'clock in the evening. I still need to find food and then get my site for the night. Now I'm going to a camping car park we've done before. It did show earlier there's still spaces, so fingers crossed I'll get a space. And I need to do water. So it's time to get a wiggle on. But tomorrow I will be moving from Cappy. So I'll quickly show you the site tomorrow morning. And then I'll let you know where I'm going to. Well, good morning. So, had my first night, locked the van in France. And this is a place called Cappy. And it's a lovely camper car park air. Now, it's only just over €15, but look what you get. You get these secluded spaces, as you can see there. So van's over there, but you get all these spots around here. Nice bushes, nice and secluded, with 6 amp electric. It seems to always be quiet here. Now, I don't know if that's always the case. So if you come here and it's busy, then yeah. But the last 2 times we've been here, it's not been that bad. Now, over this side seems to be camping or tents area. But yeah, look how quiet it is today. It's an ideal spot for coming and going and seeing the local area, that's for sure. You find you'd always get a spot here. And over the back there is a residential area. But like any camping car park, or most of them, it has got a code you can use for the toilet and shower if you need to. It's got sinks and it's got a drive over waste. So waste drop there, Elson Point, and fresh water on the rear of that. So yesterday, obviously, was quite an emotional day, really. But it got me into the spirit of what I'm just about to do and the journey I'm about to take. So I'm looking forward to the next leg. It is a bit of a drive today, but I want to get as far down as possible and then work my way back. So I'm doing the big drive today, should we say. Well, we're going to Utah Beach. We've got the museum up there, so I'm going to spend a couple of days there to explore that area. Because, like I say, you've got the beach area itself and everything in between up into the museum. So the next one, you're going to see me at Utah Beach. That's where I'm going to go into a bit more of my story and explain a bit of my service. So there's more understanding on that. So I'd like to say thanks to everyone that supports us and subscribes. And if you're supporting me on this trip, even better. And I will catch you on the next one. So until then, bye.